Hey everyone, it's Steph, and today is going to be starting a new vlog. So today I'm going to be talking about the 4 books which I mentioned previously in my last library haul before quarantine video, kind of cluing with you as I read them and talk about my thoughts about each of them. Alright, so I started off with 4 books by when I filmed that video a few weeks ago that I had not read during quarantine. I'm a huge fan of the library. I've also been using a lot of electronic books from the library during quarantine, so I've definitely taken advantage of digital resources from the library, but I haven't gotten to all the paperbacks I've had. So the 4 that I've had are The Will and the Wilds by Charlie Holmberg, Agatha Christie's A Pocket Full of Rye, Hope's Highest Mountain by Misty M. Beller, and Anne and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. The Will and the Wilds. I finished this a couple days ago, and it's like a fantasy book. It's about a girl named Anna, and there are these demon kind of creatures called mistings, and she meets one, and then ends up seeming that their fates are like tied, and he can't return to like his demon realm, which is kind of like their equivalent of hell. She has this powerful stone from the demon realm that her father gave her that's on her bracelet, and it gives her these magical kind of powers. Not magical literally, sense when demons are nearby and stay safe and whatever. There was a song in the back of this. I was really hoping that would have something to do with the plot or be referenced in the book, or at least serve a function in the story in some way. It didn't. She's not musical. There's no relevance. I'm not sure why the song's in the back. I gave this a 3-star book. It wasn't like my favorite thing ever. I was glad I tried something new. I hadn't read a fantasy book in a while. Yeah, the characters I sort of just never totally got invested in. And it was only 250 pages. Like, we should have been able to like tell a full succinct story, and it still felt like there was a lot of extra narration and a lot of extra details that bogged down. It just wasn't my favorite book. Still give it 3 stars. Got to try it, and no risk because it's a library book, so I can take it back, and I didn't pay money on a book that I ended up not really being a huge fan of. But I tried something new. Next book I've read is Anna and the French Kiss. This is a story about Anna who ends up her senior year. Her father, he's all like, hey look, I'm sort of famous now, so I could send you to this boarding school in France. And she's like, meh, I don't want to go. She ends up going anyway. I just didn't love this book like I wanted to. It wasn't terrible, but I was just kind of like, the whole time she's pining for this dude who's in a relationship with somebody else, but he doesn't stand up and declare his feelings for her. So she's constantly in this limbo, and she constantly has this fear of like rejection by her parents for sending her across the ocean from America to France for school. She's forming new friendships. She's in a country where she's still learning the language, which is pretty crazy. As a parent, why would you do that? I didn't feel like it was totally supported within the story of like why should it go to France in the first place. I felt like the reason was kind of wishy-washy. I'm truly not bashing it if you love this book. It feels very much like kids who've gone away to college for the first time are learning to be independent without their parents. And the exciting things about that, the scary things about that, and I felt like that sense of the story was relatable. I mean, I lived away for college, so I get that aspect of it, but it's like, it was a little bit on the dramatic end of things. My college experience living away was not nearly this dramatic. Seeing what a French classroom looked like as opposed to her American classroom experiences, how her professors sometimes challenged their way of thinking or challenged their discussions of literature and why different literature was discussed, and what different societal and cultural norms encouraged different kinds of discussions in the classroom that maybe her American classrooms had not encouraged or had just not gotten to. So I thought that was an interesting comparison. I also just really enjoyed hearing her explore the Paris landscape and different landmarks and visiting places that I only hope I can get to visit one day. So that was a neat experience. Overall, I gave this 3 stars. I didn't absolutely love it. I didn't absolutely hate it. It just kind of fell in the middle. And, you know, it was something I got to experience. I heard about this for a while, and that's why I kind of wanted to check it out. So I'm glad that I did. And now I can check it off the list. Next time I see you guys, I will clue in and let you know what I think of these last 2 books from the library. So I started reading this last night. I'm about 2/3 of the way through the book. We have this girl named Ingrid. She and her father are trucking out from Boston out the west to help a mining town that is suffering from smallpox. She is separated from the group and the vaccines are with her, so she ends up being injured. Trying not to like spoil anything because spoilers are the worst. Micah is a doctor. He hasn't practiced for the last 5 years. He does not want to work in medicine anymore. He finds Ingrid, she's injured. He's helping. Of course, he can't like leave her in pain and misery. So he helps bring her to shelter and he's helping her recover from this injury. She's really insistent that they have to get these vaccines to this mining town. So they have to go. She's starting to have feelings for this doctor, Micah. Micah is starting to have feelings for her. He's admiring her tenacity, her perseverance, and starting to kind of question, as well as falling for her, he's also starting to question, like, like, is that because of her faith? I think he feels like he can't trust God right now, but it'll be interesting to see kind of the transformation in these characters. Is he gonna pull like a Kristoff and like get her to the mining town and then be like, I've gotten her to her destination, I must go, kind of thing. Like, she deserves to be with somebody else. I'm interested to see where this goes. I will keep you posted. So I literally just finished reading this. It's like processing everything. So happy ending, good ending. We did not have a Kristoff taking an injured Anna and leaving her with other people and then walking away from her, which I was glad about. So she ends up convincing, I don't think this is like a major spoiler, Ingrid ends up convincing Micah to take these vaccines and go head on to town. He gets help to go get them, and then things happen, they need medical attention, they're like, ah! And then everything feels like it's falling apart, and then everything comes to a good conclusion. Some really good themes in it, learning to trust God and learning to trust in unexpected circumstances, trying circumstances, and remaining hopeful and pushing through and persevering. Good themes. I enjoyed it. I will definitely keep an eye on more books by this author, Misty Beller. So I'm glad I got the opportunity to read this and check this out. So definitely check this out if you're interested in historical romance. Almost done this library haul book reading, and I feel like holding myself accountable by making a video about it just helps me get through them faster and want to complete them, as opposed to them just sitting over there with all the other library books I have. It just feels good to know that I don't have to always read every single book I get from the library, but it's nice to know I've given them a try and not just like not even bothered with them. They don't all have to be my favorite cup of tea, but I gave it a go, and if they're not my thing, I can take them back, and if they are my thing, well then cool. I just learned about a new book that I happen to just really like. So, good stuff. That means I only have one more book left, and that's the Agatha Christie book. I finished the Hope-Sized Mountain yesterday, and I started Agatha Christie last night. I up to page 100, so we're seeing conversations from an inspectory point of view. We're seeing conversations within the family, within the household servants, and we're seeing exchanges with each of them with the inspector. At this point in an Agatha Christie, everybody's a suspect and kind of most suspicious about those we don't know a lot about yet. I read a few more chapters this morning. At this point now, we have not one, but we now have 3 murders within the household. Bum, bum, bum. And Miss Marple is on her way because one of the murders is someone who comes from her hometown, and she's going to see if she can help in any way. Interested to see what Miss Marple starts to think of everybody, because we've been reading these assessments so far in this book through the eyes of the inspector. Miss Marple, she's very kind of understated but very astute. Her first impressions of people, whether they're suspicious or not, are usually pretty accurate. I'm interested to see where it goes from here. Oh, I also found out we're allowed to bring books back to the library now. So I'm really glad I started this challenge when I did. After I finish this book, I'll be done on my library books. Yay! I only got them 3 months ago. So this will be a fun thing to kind of wrap up. interested to see where this goes. So it's late. This is the only place at night with a good light. So this is where we are. Yeah. All right. So let's talk about this book. This was, we'll just pretend that didn't happen. Agatha Christie did such a good job of weaving this mystery together. It kept me guessing. It kept me wanting to know what happened next. There were like all these moments where, of course, everyone looks suspicious at different points in the story. And then, of course, you try to like predict things as you go along. And you're like, oh, I think I got this. And then you're like, oh, crap, I don't have this. And then you're like, oh, what's going to happen? But I wasn't sure once we got to the third murder if that was going to be it, if we were going to keep going, but we stopped. Such a good ending. It was such a satisfying resolution to this mystery. I ended up reading this and then I had to go out. Thank goodness this audiobook was available in my library app, so I like could pick up right from where I was reading and then listen to it while I was driving in the car. And then I came home when I was making dinner and doing dishes. I got to keep listening to it and it was great. And I didn't have too much left to finish up after dinner and it was so good. Pocketful of Rye is based on the nursery rhyme Sing a Song of Sixpence. It was really creatively woven into the story and the characters, and they feature this family, unique family dynamic. It's kind of interesting, and their relationships with their household staff. The last little bit kind of seems like we don't need it. Like we're good. Things have kind of already wrapped up in a neat little bow. And then Agatha like slyly slips something else in the story, and it just made it all the more just click together in such a great way. I was thinking about this today, how this is not scary. It's not like a horror kind of read if that's something you're concerned about. It's more about the analytical problem solving, kind of putting the pieces together kind of mystery, which is what I can appreciate about it. So if that is something that interests you, definitely check this out. I have read all my books at the library. I now can take them all back. Let me know in the comments down below if you like seeing this vlog. I hope you guys did, because I had fun kind of sharing my reading journey as I went along, and I look forward to chatting with you guys about more books. Hope you find a book that brings some sunshine to your day, and have a fabulous day. I will chat with you guys soon. Thanks so much for watching.